What's up YouTube? My name's David, and today we are doing something a little bit different. I really think my generation is in trouble. I got a full scholarship to North Dakota State University for engineering, dropped out, never went back. I sold, oh my goodness, are they expensive? That was my first big check. Let me help you. Step number one. If you followed me for a while, you know that I make a lot of videos analyzing beatboxing techniques, and sometimes I do restoration work and time-lapse videos. But today's video is going to be about money. But first I gotta fix my necklace. The title and thumbnail of this video are not clickbait. Last year, I was 23 for half the year, turned 24 in June, and in that year, I made $100,000. Finally, yes. My business did pretty well. I don't have a college degree. I don't really know much of anything about the stock market other than buy low and sell high. Right? Sadly, I didn't get into crypto before it got huge. So what did I do? I sold, just kidding. Well, as of now, I primarily buy, restore, and sell antique motorcycles and antique motorcycle parts. And here you are watching me like, David, I can't do that. I don't know anything about that stuff. Okay, that's fine. What I do specifically doesn't really matter that much in relation to helping you. And I'll show you why. Just watch the video, be patient, trust me. So here's how this is going to go. I'm not going to be like building you up with hype leading towards this secret bit of information on how you can make a ton of money, how you can make like $6 million in a week by investing in I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to like sell you a course and like pyramid scheme you or anything like that. I'm making this video one because it'll get me some ad revenue, but also I really think my generation is in trouble. I'm 25 now. As far as like my net worth goes, I'm like top 5%, 3% maybe for my age, which is obviously really good. And I can barely afford a decent house. The 90 whatever percent that is worth less than me, obviously they can't afford a house, which is just crazy. I mean, anyways, that's a different subject. Financially speaking, it is a cutthroat world. And if you want nice things, if you just want things that everyone should have, like a house, you got to work really hard for it. You have to be really smart with your time and your money. So I would like to help you all do things that are intelligent with your time and money, that it can help you grow your money, it can help you grow your knowledge and help you navigate things in the world better. But down to business. I grew up around restoration work, around classic cars and things like that, working with my hands since I was a little kid. So it's always been an interest of mine. I've always been around that. Very important. Okay, take note of that. When I was a teenager, I worked for my parents. I did some light restoration work on 60s Mustang parts and things like that. And then I did really well in school. I was good at math and science. I got perfect grades in high school. I got a full scholarship to North Dakota State University for engineering. Went there, got really sick, came home, dropped out. Never went back. I hated it. Did not like school at all. I've always wanted my own business. So in what year? So in 2016, I started my own business just to incorporate, to get some footing as far as taxes are concerned. And also to take myself more seriously as my own business. In the early days when I was younger, I didn't have very much money. I mean, maybe like a couple $1,000s total. So the only thing I could afford to buy and sell were vintage bicycles. So that's what I did. I would go to garage sales and buy an old Schwinn bicycle that was dirty and whatever for like 30 bucks. And then I would bring it home, clean it up, clean up the rims, shine up everything, take nice pictures, put it online for sale, sell it for like 100, 150, make 4 or 5 times my money. It was great. It worked really well. I scaled it up to make more money. I did older bicycles, buy them for like 400 or 500, clean them up, put my time and my physical effort into the item, into the bike, increase the value of it and sell it for like 1,500, 2,000, did pretty well. While I was doing this, I was realizing I needed to scale up because making, maybe 1,000 extra every month is not going to buy me my own house. Okay. It's just not feasible. It's cool, but it's not enough. At the same time I was making this realization, I really got interested in antique motorcycles, these beautiful, legendary looking, sexy motorcycles that were built 100 years ago. They're just so cool. And I loved looking at them online, but oh my goodness, are they expensive. Some of these bikes by themselves are worth more individually than the net worth of probably the richest person you know personally. But at the same time, there are lower tier bikes that aren't as incredibly expensive, but they were still out of my reach. So I bridged the gap between bicycles and antique motorcycles with antique motorized bicycles. They're kind of a tier above and a tier below. go. I bought old Smith motor wheel engines from the teens. I'd buy like 3 at a time for like $500-$600. They were partially complete. I would piece one together and I restored one that I sold for a few $1,000s. In the meantime, I would sell all the extra parts and pieces and make like 4 or 5 times my money. So I would make a few $1,000s from spending, like $500 and adding in my time by taking pictures and listing things on eBay and things like that. Eventually I got to the point where I had like $10,000, $15,000 to spend on something. I bought this guy back there, my Steffi. I restored that. Obviously, I haven't sold it yet, so I haven't made money yet. But I kept doing this with old bicycles and old signs and other things. Anything I could get my hand on that I thought was cool, that I knew a little bit about, that I had the money to spend on it, where I knew I could make money on it. Eventually, I got to the point where I was able to buy a semi-complete 1912 Indian racing motorcycle. It had some missing pieces, but all the important parts were there. I put it together. I rebuilt a lot of the pieces. I found missing pieces, rebuilt those, put them on the bike, rebuilt the engine, got it running, filmed this really cool YouTube video that's got over 800,000 views now. And I sold that bike for like $55,000, which at the time I was like, that was a good one. That was a really good one. I was grinning from ear to ear for like a couple weeks after I sold that and got the money. That was my first big check, I guess, without accounting for my time on that bike, working on it and finding parts and everything. And just from a money standpoint, I profited about $30,000 on that bike, which is really good. I mean, obviously that's pretty good. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I probably have a net worth of about 300,000 or so right now, based off of, bikes that I have and things that I have on my shelf that I might keep or resell. And I keep reinvesting my money now into more and more expensive antique motorcycles and their parts. So that's my formula. That's my story. That's how I did what I did. Okay, so now you're sitting there like, all right, David, you flexed on us. You told us what you did. Congratulations. Now, how do I make my money? How are you going to help me? Okay, let me help you. So you don't need to do anything with antique motorcycles. You don't need to be a restoration artist. You don't need to have a shop. But if you listen to my story, you'll notice there was one recurring theme through everything that I talked about, and that was interest. No, not the kind that banks and credit card companies used to make money off of basically everybody on the planet. The passion kind of interest. You have to be interested in a subject, and that is, for you, step number 1. Find something that interests you. Not just something that interests you, but something that interests you that involves something that you can buy and sell. For example, like you enjoy playing guitar, maybe you work on your guitars a little bit, you fine tune them a little. Well, maybe you could get into vintage guitars. Or if you really like sneakers, you like vintage sneakers, and that you could get into buying and selling vintage sneakers or vintage clothes, things of that sort. There are so many different genres of collectability, so many different collectibles. There is something for everybody out there, I promise. And there are so many different things that you can get your hands on that are worth money, that are bought and sold all the time. So there's your step 1. Find an interest that involves something that you can buy and sell. Easy enough, right? I'm sure a lot of you have hobbies and things like that you're already going, hey, maybe this is what David's talking about. Maybe I can use this. Okay. Step number 2, knowledge. Learn a lot about that interest. I mean, like, learn so much that you think there isn't any more to learn about that subject, and you will still learn more. I have been obsessing over antique motorcycles for years, and I'm still learning more every day about individual items, different years, different specifics, yada yada, that sort of thing. So step number 2 explains why step number 1 is important. It is so hard to learn about something that doesn't interest you. On the contrary, it is so easy to learn an obsessive amount of information about something that does interest you. That is why step number 1 and number 2 work very well together. You find something that interests you, a hobby, a genre, a style, whatever, and you can learn a lot about it in a short amount of time very easily. So what kind of knowledge should you learn about, say, let's take, for example, like vintage t-shirts. I have some friends that are professional thrift shoppers, and they buy and sell vintage shirts. A lot of them really specialize in big, large print, like Marvel comic shirts and things like that. They sell for like hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars. They do pretty well. Well, you should go online to different auction houses and places like eBay especially. Research which shirts are worth a lot of money, which are more common and aren't worth as much money. Find out how to identify fakes and things, because every genre has fakes in it. Things you should get excited about, things you shouldn't. If things are seasonal, some things are worth more different times a year during different auctions and shows. And a very important thing, learn about condition and how condition affects price on basically anything. So once you gain a comfortable amount of information watching people on eBay spend, X amount of dollars on a different shirt or a different shoe or things like that, you start getting more comfortable with with the genre, and you can find yourself predicting what things will sell for. Once you get to that point, you need to move on to step number 3. You need to start buying and selling on your own. Experiment a little bit. I recommend starting with something cheaper, something towards the bottom of the pyramid. Every genre of collectibles, whether it be antique motorcycles or shirts or guitars or shoes or jewelry or whatever, they can all kind of be categorized as like a pyramid, like this. The base of the pyramid has the largest amount of quantity of anything in the whole pyramid. In reference to collectibles, it's also the least valuable part. However, it's also the entry-level part. This bottom section of the pyramid has the largest volume of buying and selling going on in it, because no matter how much money you have, if you can afford the top of the pyramid or just barely afford the bottom, everybody in that genre or that hobby can afford the bottom of the pyramid. So it's really easy to buy and sell things down there for reasonable prices. Maybe you've been really watching this certain model of Jordan sneakers that, in 9 out of 10 condition always sell for about $150 when they're marketed properly with good pictures and good detailed ads and descriptions on eBay. So now your eyes are set to search for this shoe no matter where you're looking. If you're on, like Twitter, if you're just in your local neighborhood garage sale, if you're on Facebook. Facebook Marketplace is a great place to find deals. Not everything on there is stolen. I mean, some of it probably is. But anyways, say you're on Facebook Marketplace and you see these Jordans and they're $50 and they're like a mile away from you. They look legit. They are way underpriced. Go buy them. Bring the guy some cash, buy them for $50, clean them up a little bit, take some nice pictures, have a very exciting yet honest ad, title, and description, and sell them for $150, maybe $140. Make some good money on it. Get some confidence built up for yourself. Basically, what you're doing here is you are making a bet with yourself that you can make money on these shoes, and then you are proving yourself right. That is so important. No matter what tier level you're at on the pyramid, it is so important to do that, to reaffirm to yourself that yes, my knowledge is worth that amount of money. It is worth risking some money on. The more knowledge you have of the hobby or genre that you're in, the lower the risk is that you'll ever have a problem losing money. I have so much more I could talk about on this buying and selling subject, but I don't want this video to get ridiculously long. But if you like this, if you want to hear more about more things you can do in specific to make more money, I've got a lot to say, so let me know down in the comments if you want to hear more, if there's anything you want to hear specifically. So step number 1, find an interest that is associated with the buying and selling of something, whether it's like old shoes, vintage clothes, jewelry, playing cards. Oh my goodness. Old Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, baseball cards. Some of those are so ungodly expensive. I mean, it's crazy. Step number 2, gain as much knowledge as you can about that subject, prices and values for certain things, what things are rare and valuable, what things could be fake, how to identify fakes, etc. And step number 3, start buying and selling at the bottom of the pyramid, and you can work your way up. And by the time you're working your way up, maybe I'll have some more videos to explain how you can work your way up that pyramid and what you should do once you get towards the top. I hope you enjoyed today's video. This is something that I'm very passionate about, and I have a lot of information to share with you all if you'd like. And if I can help you guys take your life into your own hands, take your finances into your own hands, not only give you the monetary satisfaction of having more money, but also it feels fulfilling to be able to take your knowledge and to take your money and risk it a little bit and be successful with that. It feels good. It's enjoyable. So I hope you all can experience that as well. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and until next time.